everybody, how's it going? Aaron Rift here from NoDQ.com along with good old JM, Jeff Meacham. We just finished watching WWE Money in the Bank. Jeff, how do you sum up this pay-per-view?
Well, considering the fact that I had to wake up to see the Primetime Players won the tag titles, that's pretty much how it sums up for me. Other than the main event, not their best offering this year by far.
Well, I would say up until Cena versus Owens, this was the worst WWE pay-per-view of 2015 so far. The booking on this show, I just was shaking my head for most of the finishes on this show.
Well, it's funny. I just sent a tweet out during the main event about there was an instance in the original. I guess we'll talk about the kickoff match first. But
yeah,
during the Money in the Bank match, something happened I talked about in the other room, and it came to fruition. So that was one thing. But during the kickoff, I was surprised. I was surprised that Truth won. I figured they might actually. We both did. We both actually thought they might give King Barrett the win. They might actually give King Barrett, throw him a bone, and they have Truth beat him on the kickoff. Well, no point to the match. No point to even have it on the show at all, really.
Yeah, I mean, I said in our predictions that maybe WWE, for humor, whatever, would have R-Truth win. R-Truth won. And
yeah. But now he's King What's Up and stealing the crown and throwing it back like some common criminal.
Yeah, so Wade Barrett is going nowhere. King of the Ring means absolutely nothing at this point.
Clearly.
Alright, so moving on to the actual pay-per-view show, we have the Money in the Bank ladder match, which in my opinion was the most disappointing Money in the Bank ladder match perhaps ever. I thought it was a really disappointing match. I felt that it made absolutely no sense. It started off with everybody trying to climb up the ladder. They all get knocked out of the ring, and then for like 5 minutes, they're all gone. There's only 2 guys in the ring, and that was pretty much how it went for the entire match. You had 2 guys in there, and then one guy would get hurt, then another guy would come in. It's just the selling made absolutely no sense.
Yeah, it was very bizarre booking, the way they laid out the Money in the Bank ladder match this year. Very, very different from years past, very unusual from years past, and not very well put off. But you forgot to mention the top of the show. The tribute to Dusty Rhodes.
That was awesome. Salute.
That was really cool. I'm looking forward to tomorrow night watching the
Dusty Rhodes special.
I forget they actually called it, but yeah, it was really cool. This is my first time appearing on camera with you guys since Dusty passed. So
yeah.
Let me just say, it was a pleasure to interview Dusty back in 2003. God, 12 years ago. Pretty much made Mike's career by making fun of me. But I will forever remember Dusty as Ric Flair's greatest rival, even though I wasn't watching back then, and as the common man in WWF. It was tremendous to see Dusty, and it's a shame that he's passed. Anyway, the Money in the Bank, it felt very off. I didn't like the whole thing with Bray, although I called it in the other room earlier taping, that Bray needs a main event feud very, very quickly here to get back on his feet, and now he's in a program with Roman Reigns in 4 weeks.
Yeah, I thought it made no sense when it happened, but then somebody pointed out that Roman Reigns actually beat Bray Wyatt on Raw a couple weeks ago, that night that Roman had to wrestle 3 times in one night.
He did, that's
right.
So
I guess that was Bray Wyatt getting revenge on Roman Reigns, but the announcers apparently did not make any mention of this whatsoever.
Well, it seemed to me, and we're here in Site B for No DQ, everybody in this house mentioned that the announcers seemed really off their game tonight. They missed several spots, they missed several calls, all 3 of them were very, very off all through the course of the night, and this was no exception to start the show.
Yeah.
They totally forgot to reference the fact that Roman just beat Bray. I think this is one of the things we're supposed to forget, because Roman was so dominant that night. We're supposed to forget that, now this is a whole new issue.
Yeah, and there weren't a whole lot of memorable spots. I mean, there was one point where Roman dove over the top on everybody, and there's a power bomb to Kofi
on the ladder, and then a power bomb on Neville through Kofi.
But that was pretty much it.
Yeah, Neville did a spot toward the end. He did the red arrow. That was cool to see. But other than that, it was definitely the most lackluster Money in the Bank ladder match. I know, because I watched them all yesterday here in the other room.
Yeah, like I said, the selling made no sense. You had Randy Orton just sitting out there. You could see him on camera.
He was just chilling back there.
He said that the announcers could have said, well, he's being smart. He's just waiting for the right time. But they didn't even bother to say anything.
Yeah, so. Very, very poorly booked, very poorly conceived,
yeah.
very poorly called by the announcers. Yeah. Just a horrible match.
Yeah, so guys just disappear. And then at one point, Ziggler super kicks Kane, and he gets right back up from it. So the selling made no sense.
That's terrible.
And then Sheamus won. Of all the guys in the match to win, when Neville and Sheamus were up there, I thought maybe, okay, this is cool. They're actually going to have a surprise and have Neville win. That would be something cool, but no.
Considering how over NXT has become thanks to Hunter's booking, you would think they had the former NXT champion get the rub, but no, they gave it to Sheamus instead.
And some people out there on Twitter were complaining, well, you guys were all negative on Roman Reigns, and now you're unhappy that Sheamus won. I would have been fine with Roman Reigns winning. That would have at least made sense.
I had no problem. Roman winning was the obvious choice. Yeah. And I said that last week.
I was fine. I was fine with that.
I said it on our picture when we taped on Tuesday. I said that, but it would have been cool to see. Like I picked Kofi as the dark horse, and that would have been a very interesting surprise. But overall, not a very good day for the New Day.
Yeah. Well, we'll get to that in a minute.
Yes.
But Sheamus winning, I mean, I don't know. To me, him as a top heel isn't going to work out. They're chanting "You look stupid" at him every single match, and
I mentioned on Talk Wrestling, somebody asked me if they want to book him as a serious top heel, why are they having him look so stupid? I don't know. Yeah. I don't know how. I don't know how we can ever take him seriously again with those stupid braids and that horrible mohawk. At least he looked like Beaker. He looked like a lovable Muppet. It was different.
Yeah, I don't know. Not a fan of it.
Not at all.
And then we had the Divas title match, Nikki versus Paige, which was okay. But the finish of this match, you had the Twin Magic attempt with Brie coming in, even though she has much smaller boobs, and that should be an obvious sign. Plus the hair.
Brie Bella has no boobs and less ass than Nikki. Sorry to swear,
and darker hair.
And darker hair now. She wears a little blonder hair to make it look like they're not twin. They're not identical twins anymore.
Right.
The Twin Magic thing should have ended the minute they came back and Nikki was bigger.
And I guess they're back to. I guess they're back to being heels again.
Yeah, for the third time in 3. I guess they're the big shows of the Divas division.
Exactly. So Brie comes in, Paige pins Brie, and then
Brie starts tearing the tissue out of her boobs. Oh wait, it's not Nikki. It's not Nikki. Look at it. Yeah. Look, here's my tattoo. Yeah. Like, whoa, we almost saw a flash there. And then Nikki attacks.
Yeah. So instead of Nikki being disqualified when the referee notices this, he lets the match go on. And then
worse. You know what? We watched a baseball game, the Angels and the Athletics today. The worst umpire in Major League Baseball called that game today. That guy, whoever refereed that match, has to be the worst referee in WWE right now. Horrible call. Horrible.
Yeah. And then we had Big Show versus Ryback. We had Miz, a.k.a. Beavis, or the great Miz Holio,
Miz Holio
out there on commentary. So we knew he was going to get involved in the finish. I mean, that was obvious. I would have liked to have seen Big Show lose to Ryback in 30 seconds. Ryback was on fire right from the get-go of the match. I would have liked to have just seen a quick win there. That would have made Ryback look strong as hell.
The problem with that is, yes, but the internet, us IWC marks, would have crapped on it for the most part because we dislike Ryback so much. Well, and then Big Show would have been buried forever.
Oh, well.
But people like Big Show. He's a friendly guy.
Really?
I think I do.
Well, I think it's too little, too late for Big Show.
It is, but to totally bury him, if they're going to keep him around, let him be strong. And now by Miz costing them both a clean victory, now it leads credence to the feud. Okay, well, there was never a clean finish between you and I, Ryback and Big Show, so we're going to finish that line. But for right now, we have both take out Miz.
Oh boy, I'm so excited for that triple threat match. That's going to be a barn burner.
I'm not saying triple threat because I don't want to see that because I hate triple threat matches. I absolutely loathe them. But for Ryback to get so incensed that Miz got him disqualified, he needs to take out Miz now and give Miz something to complain about even further.
I thought it was a terrible finish.
It was a terrible finish, absolutely.
Moving on here, so we had in my opinion, 4 bad finishes in a row.
Yes.
Finally, the show starts to pick up with John Cena versus Kevin Owens too, but some people might not like the finish of this one. Here's my take on it.
I know Gilberto likes the finish.
Yes, Gilberto is safe. He stays in the NoDQ.com group. So here's my take on the match. I thought it was very good. You had lots of near falls. The crowd, the main point I want to make is, even though I personally did not buy into the near falls because I thought it was overkill, the crowd did react to a lot of the near falls. So the match was a success in that regard. And both guys actually did do a few different things from the previous match. Although to me it did feel like the same match as the first one. I would have liked to have seen a little bit different things in the match, maybe more submissions.
Cena did a few different moves. He actually pulled the jumping stunner out of his butt and then hit the.
Well, he kind of botched that again.
He always does. I don't know why he does.
Steve Austin's going to complain again.
Well, somebody mentioned on the either him or Heyman mentioned it on the podcast, and Austin made a very good point. There's nothing original anymore. Everything's been done. So, but for me, I've said I'm not a fan of Kevin Owens. I've never been a fan. I haven't liked him from a long time. But I thought it would have been something different to have him win this match tonight and really shake that show up.
Yeah.
But even Cena winning shook the show up because it was almost unexpected. And then the attack after was totally, you could see it coming, but it was still impactful. It was still meaningful. It still had the crowd going, wow, this is not over yet.
Right. So
then Owens held the U.S. title up this time first,
Yeah.
which means now it's like, okay, now it's on.
Yeah, if WWE was hell-bent on Cena getting his win back, this was about as good of a job as they could have done. And, Owens did look strong afterwards, laying out Cena, and, they're going to do the rubber match. So, whatever, I'm fine with it. I thought it was a very good match.
Do you do it at Battleground or do you do it at SummerSlam?
I would wait till SummerSlam, but I think they're going to do it at Battleground. We'll see. We'll have to wait and see.
All right, yeah.
And next up, we have the New Day versus the Primetime Players in the death spot of the night.
Yeah, once again, a quality match on paper has to follow Owens Cena. And it was a decent match, but I was so worn out from the previous 4 crap matches followed by a decent match. I'm sitting right over here just kind of nodding off my chair. I wake up, I see Titus do the spine buster, I get a 3 count, I'm like, wait a minute, the New Day just lost!
Yeah, I mean,
after all I complained about on the show about how bad the Primetime Players suck, they win the tag titles tonight. So somebody tweeted, I bet Jeff's pissed off. It's like, no, I'm not pissed, because I don't mind the Primetime Players. I just didn't think they were going to be viable on the second round, the second tour of duty, but Lord, if I was right.
Yeah, it really came out of nowhere.
Yeah, it did. It really came out of nowhere, and I got a little flack. I got a little flack for pointing out that this is National Pride Weekend.
Well, I mean, could be a way for WWE to...
It could be a PR play on WWE's part, but I want to believe that it's because Titus and Darren are good athletes.
Maybe it's because he won Father of the Year. They wanted to give him the tag.
Exactly.
I mean, there could be any number of reasons, or maybe they just feel it's time for a babyface team since Kid and Cesaro are hurt.
Right.
They wanted to push a new babyface tag team. So maybe that's the reason. I mean, who knows?
It could be anything, but whatever it is, congrats to Darren and Titus. That's awesome that they're finally, after being partners for so long off and on, they're finally champions. It's very cool.
All right, so then we had the main event, Dean Ambrose versus Seth Rollins, which I actually thought was a pretty darn good match. A different kind of ladder match where instead of relying on high spots and bumps, it was more about the psychology.
Yep.
You had the story being told where Dean Ambrose was having his leg attacked by Rollins.
It was almost like the ladder itself was a hindrance to the overall storytelling of the match. You could have had the same match where Ambrose was being worn down and beaten down, and it could have been like a last man standing match where he could not get up.
Yeah.
And the ladder would have been inconsequential. Somebody from PWI pointed that out.
Well,
but for me, they told the story so well, back and forth, all throughout the match. Both guys just beat this tar out of each other. The finish was shaky, but you and I were back for about 5 minutes before we started taping about how when they both came down, who had the belt, and we talked about the football rule, and it's a matter of they wanted people to think that it was this close.
Right.
They wanted people to think that Ambrose just was out of his reach, and it was.
Yeah.
Rollins is the champion. Triple H got in his ear before he walked out there, and despite what everybody, including people in this house, said, Rollins did it on his own.
Yeah, I mean, I like the fact that Rollins did win cleanly. It was a bit confusing. I thought it was a draw when it first went down.
Right, when we all thought, but I noticed as they landed, the belt shifted possession directly into
not
Rollins.
in midair.
Not in midair.
After they landed.
After they landed, the belt jumped out of Ambrose's hands. So, like I said, like in football, whoever comes up possession at the end of the play is the
I guess.
winner of the play.
I guess I give them credit for doing something different.
It definitely kept us on our toes after the show was over.
Yeah,
and that was awesome.
Yeah, so I actually really enjoyed this match a lot, and I think it saved the show for the most part.
I don't know about saving the show. It definitely breathed really good life further into a feud that had become very almost one-dimensional the last 2 weeks. It was all about Ambrose has the belt, he's running around with it, and Seth is being a whiny bitch about it.
Yeah, but
That's all it was. So, and then finally Rollins was told, you're on your own, and he did it.
Yeah.
He proved, his claim of being the greatest champion of all time is very far-fetched, but he's definitely one of the better ones of this generation.
Yeah.
And he proved it tonight.
But he did. I do like the fact that Rollins won. It makes him look strong for Brock Lesnar. That's what's important. So,
yes.
I mean, in terms of giving this show a letter grade, I think I'll give it a C.
Solid C, borderline B minus thanks to Owens Cena in the main event.
Yeah, I mean, it had a mix of some good stuff and some pretty bad stuff. I'm kind of in the middle with
It was very much 60-40 bad stuff, unfortunately.
Yeah, so maybe a C minus for me.
C minus, okay, makes sense. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't letter grade, but it was solid. It just there were there were a lot of points that could have been done a lot better.
A lot of questionable booking.
Yes, definitely.
Oh, and the commentary too. Another thing I wanted to add is during the main event, Ambrose did the bionic elbow as a tribute to Dusty, and then JBL immediately talks about how Ambrose is a bad example for being WWE champion, that sort of thing. Right after he does a tribute, a nice touching tribute to the American Dream.
I know, it was terrible. I usually am a fan of JBL more than I am Cole and Lawler, but all three of them were just bad tonight.
Yeah, commentary was pretty weak, so yeah, it was an okay show, I guess.
Makes me glad NXT's only in a couple days.
So that'll do it for our thoughts on Money in the Bank. Leave a comment, let us know what you think about the show and your favorite match, your least favorite match. Let us know. Stay tuned to NoDQ.com for the very latest regarding WWE, and we will see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.